That time in the morning again, where I'm barely awake, but I'm gonna be throwing myself at something that requires me to actually have a brain that turns on, so we're probably going to fail this a solid 10 times before we get anywhere. Or who knows, maybe I'll first try. We'll see what happens. But anyway, hello, so minor things happened yesterday. The big one for me is Space Marine 3's already been announced. That's kind of cool, because I like playing Space Marine 2. Didn't run that well for me at times, but it's cool that they're already making a third game, because I still love Space Marine 1. It's nice to see that franchises I did enjoy are alive. My predictions, 2 streams for the challenge? Okay, so my main issue. So we PB'd at the maze, but I clearly don't know what I'm looking in the maze for. I have a fairly good idea. I assume I'm supposed to stare into this. And it's just one of these is the puzzle. Or I guess 2 of them is the puzzle. And I don't know a viable way of really searching it quickly. I also don't know what puzzles I'm going to be thrown at in there either, which is another thing. So I don't know what a good pace is yet. That's kind of like another issue. Anyway, time for volume warning. This just gets really fucking loud at the end. Uh-oh. Wait. Can I fail this and reset it? Yes. Okay. Well, you know what? It's good to know that that can happen very early. That was so slow. That was so painfully slow. efficient way of fucking staring blankly into the abyss. Oh no, it's fucking Doritos. Oh no. Ah, shit. Well, I was right on one part. Yeah, that sounds like it's... Oh wait, because I failed that I have to do this again, right? Oh fuck me. It's so over. It's actually so over. Alright, so now I know where the better pace is. It's not that. If I fail in the maze and start hearing that music, I may as well just run back here. Okay. Right, I've already fucked that up. too much brain power needs to go into this. I could read the chat, or I could do this. There's a way to know the way to go. Unfortunately, I do not know the way to go, so L. Yeah, this is already looking disastrous. Well, yeah, that. Getting called by a random number, but I don't know who they are. They can just text me. But our run was already fucked anyway. Ugh. Heard it though? No, that's because it's close to my microphone, because it's on my table. Now the dog is gonna get triggered because now it hears things outside and it's heard my phone. It's gonna conflate the two and start barking. There we go. Be right back. I'm back. Somehow I don't think the people emptying the bins in the bin lorries are the same people that were phoning me on a unnamed number. As funny as that would be. saw it, but I don't see enough of it, so I'll try a new roll. Although I think I've already lost. That's sad that that was fast. What's wrong? It's wrong too. That's wrong as well. That's wrong as well. Yeah, this is already became a disaster. Two, one. No, that doesn't work either. Doesn't work. That's not gonna work. That's gonna fail. It's over. Solving it too slowly. I really did just like fuck that one up real bad. so holy shit, we did one. Now we just gotta find the other. No, not like this. Not like this. Fuck! Turned them both off, which that would be exceptional. Well, I think the run's dead, boys. That was it. Yep. Yep. New PB, though. Can't go into the maze having to listen to that end part. It's not enough time. It was such a good run too. Shit. Fuck. Get me out of here. One of my questions I was thinking about though. Can they actually show up on the side? The answer is yes. Oh, fuck, I did a freak. At least gonna be the same place. Yes, okay, at least I can work with that, I guess. Oh, it's gonna be very, very wrong. Oh, it's already gonna be wrong. Shit, yeah. Naturally, this is where I know I operate at my peak. The high stress of funny music. Somehow I don't think I'm getting this one, boys. YOLO. Well, at least I saw both of the puzzles in there. They require so much fucking concentration and brain power, though. And to very quickly decide if it's a lost cause or not is rough. I'm not failing the first 3 puzzles. Get as much time in the maze as I can afford. Jeez. That was very slow. Yeah, I didn't have speedrunning puzzle games on my, like, 2025 bingo sheet or anything. But here we are. Ooh, I don't know, this is doable. It was. Oh no. Oh, it's a fucking mirror pillar too? Oh, fuck you, game. actually made it through the maze by figuring out the maze. I'm just that fucking great at the game. What a fucking insane run that ended up being, though. Fucking course there'd be pillar puzzles. Why wouldn't there be fucking pillar puzzles? Best viewer bot. You picked the perfect time. And I can take out my frustration on mirror puzzle with a bot. Hello. Lost cause. As you can see, we're starting off strong with the stress. Probably doable, but I couldn't see it quick enough. Which also means this run's probably dead already. There might be, but it's quite the gamble to pray for that. Yeah, too many resets there. That's not enough time. Hello. That took way too long to like confirm that in my head, but what are we watching? Evil. What a fumble. Shit. It's all wrong. Yeah, this just became way too slow very quickly. Yep, too slow. We don't have enough time for the maze and the pillars. We have to be in the maze before that part of the song starts playing. There's not enough time otherwise. Outside of exceptional luck. Now's not the time to laser me everywhere. Accidentally right-clicked too early. Let me die, game. That was probably doable, but I just didn't want to throw the mental capacity at it. I have a distinct feeling that this run is also not long for this world. Too many mistakes. Getting to the maze consistently aged well, I think. Like that. And it's mostly just my ability to try and think quick enough for this. You think of the amount of time I spend playing Call of Duty on the worst maps known to man, I blink and you die in seconds. I'd have like the reaction speed to realize this. Apparently not. It better be an easy one. Oh, it is. Not that that matters, because... That's fucked up. Okay, that works. Puzzle. I have a distinct feeling that making it to the pillars is probably the best I'm gonna do. We've managed to turn the witness into my chips runs and balloons. So my door's more open than it was before, which means I believe my cat came into my room. Might still be in my room for all I know. That's not a problem for current me to deal with, because current me needs to spend as much brain power as possible looking at this. This had to be the fucking first one, didn't it? Okay, at least it's easy. maybe one too many resets already. Too slow, but maybe I could salvage it. It's a 3 down there now, that's already fucked. That's a 2. 2, 2, 3, fuck! I don't even know if it's like actually doable. That's the main pro. I don't know if there's fucking decoys I'm at the reset as well. Fucking reset me. It's a lost cause, but fuck it. Spent too long on spots I really need to not spend too long on. Gets banned for playing the music? You know what? If someone wants to try and claim classical music, fucking go for it. If this is how I go out, fuck it. doing this at a very slanted angle now. Oh. I feel like I should just immediately reset if that happens to me, because having to run back here is so fucking slow. This already looks bad. Yeah, it is bad. Seriously? You know what, I'll humor it. Alright, a little bit fucked, but I think it's still good enough right now. One, two, two, three. Shit. Oh no, this isn't enough time. One, two, two, three, 2 and a 1. Also lost track of where I am, which hasn't helped matters. Okay, that's the exit. misery. Are those puzzles generated random, picked up from a list? They may as well be random, but I assume they're a list. Spent too long trying to find Doritos. I don't know the exact rules, nor do I want to know the exact rules, because it's funnier this way. That's good. Now we're here. Okay, we're in the maze already. Good, good. Which isn't good enough because 1, 2, 1. That's gonna turn into like a disaster case here. Shit. Completed the challenge! My fucking heart rate. One of the earlier puzzles is a map of the maze. Which earlier puzzle? Is it this one? Wait, hold on. How many squares is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 by 5? The table? Yeah, that does look correct. But we've already established that I would never have been able to internalize that anyway. The dots are where the puzzles would have been then, so they're both in the middle. That's kind of funny. Alright, give me my movie. I suffered for this. You know, when I hit my Windows key, I expect the start menu to actually show up so I can use Paint. It didn't even fucking print screen! What the fuck did I print screen then? I gotta run all the way back. I gotta run all the way back. You took the picture and everything. Well, I feel accomplished that I managed to do that puzzle without understanding the maze. Yet again, the power of sheer willpower and brute force. I like how you said it might take me a couple days as well. I underestimated you? Literally puzzle master. There we go. This time it print screened. Good to know all those years of Twitch gameplay and Guitar Hero finally come in use for looking at something fast enough. Just want my moving. I've earned this. Oh look, it's the funny.
How many of you here have personally witnessed a total eclipse of the sun? To stand one day in the shadow of the moon is one of my humble goals in life. The closest I ever came was over 30 years ago. On February 26th, 1979, a solar eclipse passed directly over the city of Portland. I bought my bus tickets and found a place to stay. But in the end,
it wanted me to click it the first time, but no, it doesn't. Oh, okay.
Well, anyone who lives in Portland can tell you that the chances of catching the sun in February are pretty slim. And sure enough, the skies over the city that day were completely overcast. I wouldn't have seen a thing. That work I couldn't get out of was my first job out of college. A salesman.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. But we're gonna watch the movie.
Up to the front of the store. They carried in a big carton, upon which was printed the legend TRS-80. It was our floor sample of the world's first mass-market microcomputer. The TRS-80 Model 1 had a Z80 processor clocked at 1.7 MHz, 4,096 bytes of memory, and a 64-character black and white text display. The only storage was a cassette recorder. All this could be yours for the low, low price of $599. The store I was working in had seen better days. At one time, it had been near the center of a thriving commercial district. But like so many other New England cities, the advent of shopping malls had, by the early 70s,
so you said there's a third ending.
Worcester's solution to this
paper
problem
puzzles
was decisive.
This video is nearly an hour long.
The city's elders apparently decided that if they couldn't
enjoy the next hour of content, it's never been easier being a streamer.
And so, several square blocks at the heart of the city were bulldozed into oblivion, destroying dozens of family businesses, including the site of a pharmacy once operated by my great-grandfather. In their place was erected a vast 3-level shopping complex with cinemas and a food court.
It's like we've become a React streamer after all.
Only a few forlorn blocks of
it only took a couple years, but it finally happened.
My Radio Shack store.
Imagine watching the whole puzzle but not doing the environmental puzzle.
Then,
I hope that annoys people to no end.
Radio Shack opened a brand new location inside the shopping center, less than 500 feet from my store. So now patrons had a choice between a clean, well-lighted establishment with uniformed security and acres of convenient parking, or a shadowy hole.
How was I allowed to go off when I was sitting here?
Movie theater. Consequently, I had plenty of time to fool around with the new computer. I taught myself basic programming. Then I learned Z80 assembly. Both, of course, so that I could write games. I also created self-running animated demos, which ran all night in the store window for the edification of the winos who peed in our doorway. Strangely enough, the few customers we had didn't seem to be interested in our new computer, even after the 16K memory upgrade. In fact, most of the people who set off the buzzer on their way through the front door weren't there to buy anything at all. They were there to exploit a free promotion, which was the bane of Radio Shack employees for over 40 years.
Apparently only 5.2% of the players have completed the challenge.
The idea of this promotion was simple. Customers got a little red card, upon which was printed a square for each month. 12 times a year, the lucky sales clerk got to punch out a square and give the customer one brand new AAA, AA, C, D, or 9-volt battery. Of course, customers weren't allowed to choose just any grade of battery. At the time of my employment, Radio Shack offered 3 different levels of battery excellence. First were the
shocked if you I'm not shocked either. I think I'm more shocked that 5% of people have done
hanging behind the counter like prescription medication in gold-embossed blister packs.
Even accounting.
These were most certainly not available through the battery of the month.
Even accounting for people cheating via Steam Achievement Manager.
Next were the high-end lead batteries, sturdy,
that number actually seems quite high.
Moderately priced,
it's
and
18%.
Prominently displayed near the front of the store.
18.9% of people have beaten the game
not available
in general.
Through the battery of the month club.
At least on Steam.
Finally, at the bottom of the barrel were the standard lead batteries. These were literally piled in barrels, cunningly located way at the back of the store.
Definitely easier getting the Journey to Prairie King achievement.
Remember TV
I disagree with an asterisk sign to that.
Looking for their free battery of the month.
Prairie King achievement is hard if you don't cheese.
Past the CB radios
because Concerned
and stereo
Ape
headphones
added
and
leeway to it.
Racing cars. Nothing would stop them. On the first day
you can do a level of Prairie King and then save the next day in Stardew and try the next level. Keep doing it every time you fail.
I would look up from my programming and wave them to the back of the store. It didn't matter that the batteries were only worth 29 cents.
Excuse me, you couldn't do that.
It didn't matter that most of them were already half dead. They came, they grabbed. And as far as I can remember, not one of them ever paid for a damned thing. I was such a crappy salesman. I was young and foolish. I thought my education in game design was happening at the keyboard. I almost missed the lesson coming through the front door. Fortunately, I wasn't the only person fooling around with games on micros. All over the country, people like me were experimenting. Scott Adams was coding what would soon become the world's first commercial adventure game. Remember adventure games? My future employer, Infocom, was being founded, along with other legendary companies like Online Systems, Sirius, Personal Software, and SSI.
It's like the Vidmaster achievements back in the Halo 3 days on Xbox.
Teenagers were making fortunes.
Beating the last level, 4-player co-op, where anyone that dies immediately resets the level.
But in 1979, the biggest news in gaming had nothing to do with computers.
Torture.
On the morning of the autumn equinox, September 20th, a new children's picture book appeared in the stores of Great Britain. This picture book was
those Halo achievements were fucking wild.
It consisted of 15 meticulously detailed
and a 2-hour-long achievement
illustrating a slight whimsical tale about a rabbit delivering a jewel
I don't even know how the fuck we managed that, but I know for a fact
on the
I
back
have
jacket
I've got
of
the
the
reward
book
on my Xbox
was a
account.
photograph of a real jewel, shaped like a running rabbit, 5 inches long, fashioned of 18-karat gold.
I do, in fact, has recons.
Suspended with ornaments and
which
bells,
you earned via the 7
with
Vidmasters of Halo 3 and ODST.
Quartz. According to the blurb underneath,
I did it.
This very jewel had been buried somewhere in England. Clues pointing to its location were concealed in the text and in the pictures of the book.
Was I when I did that?
The treasure would belong to whoever found it first.
Had to be like 13
The book was
at
called
most.
Masquerade. It was created by an eccentric little man with divergent eyes and a talent for mischief.
Those
named
Halo days
Kit
were so
Williams.
long ago now.
Within days, the first printing was sold out, and the empire that never sleeps found itself in the grip of rabbit fever. Excited readers attacked the paintings with rulers, compasses, and protractors. Magazine articles and TV specials dissected the clues, floated theories, and followed with keen delight the reckless exploits of the fanatics. One obscure park, unfortunately known by the nickname Rabbit Hill, was so riddled with holes excavated by misguided treasure seekers that the authorities had to erect signs assuring the public that no gold rabbits were to be found there. Some hunters ended up seeking psychological counseling for their obsession. The craze leapt over the Atlantic Ocean and invaded America, France, Italy, and Germany. It sold over 1 million copies in a few months, a record unrivaled by any children's title until the advent of Harry Potter. Over 150,000
trying to figure out what other
copies
nightmarish
were sold
achievements
in
I've
foreign
gone through in
translations,
my
including 80,000 copies in Japanese.
your
despite the fact that the puzzle
20-year-long
was only solvable
gaming career
in
at this
English.
point.
It didn't matter that the Masquerade jewel was only worth a few $1,000s. Many
Halo
seekers
ones still
spent
really do
far
stick
more than
out because of
that
how
in their
horrific they
months
were
of
and how long
exploration
they
and
each
travel.
took.
It was the thrill of
Maybe
the chase,
old COD Zombies, actually.
the
The Easter eggs in
possibility
Black Ops
of
1 were
being
fucking
the one.
absurd for a child
Treasure
to do.
hunts, secret messages, and hidden things seem to exert an irresistible appeal.
So remember fucking
They're
Shangri-La
fun to look for and to talk about.
requiring 4 players,
And
which is
this
basically me and
fact
my
of human
friend doing a
psychology
4-player Easter
has
egg
been exploited in computer games
with 2 controllers,
since the
agent split
earliest
screen.
days. It finds expression in the hidden surprises we call Easter eggs. Atari's Stephen Wright is credited with coining this term in the first issue of Electronic Games magazine. The first Easter egg in a commercial computer game appeared in an early Atari 2600 cartridge called, simply enough, Adventure. By a sequence of unlikely movements and obscure manipulations, players could discover a secret room where the words created by Warren
Every time I end
Robinette
up playing it, though, I end up
appeared
taking
in
a massive
flashing
break.
letters. Over the decades, Easter eggs and their evil twin, cheat codes,
Cannon
have
fodder
become
with a
an
single
industry
death, one of the hardest
within
things to.
an
Which
industry.
game was that attached to?
Entire magazines and websites are now devoted to their carefully orchestrated discovery and dissemination. They're part of our toolkit, our basic vocabulary, the language of computer game design. Computer gamers may have been the first to refer to hidden surprises as Easter eggs, but we certainly weren't the first to use them. Painters, composers, and artists of
I still
every
had half of my
discipline
Xbox
have been
games. I
hiding
could like
stuff in their
look at them,
works
but
for centuries.
some of them have
The
disappeared
recent
over the
advent of
years.
VCRs and Laserdisc players with freeze-frame capability exposed decades of secret Disney erotica. Thomas Kincaid, the self-appointed painter of light, amuses himself by hiding the letter N in his works. A number beside his signature indicates how many N's are hidden in each painting. Picasso, Dali, Raphael, Poussin, and dozens of other painters concealed all kinds of stuff in their paintings. A favorite trick was hiding portraits of themselves, their families, friends, and fellow artists in crowd scenes. El Greco loved dogs, but the Catholic Church forbid him from including any in his sacred paintings. So he hid them, usually
It was an
within the
Amiga game
outlines
ported to
of
SNES and some
celestial
other
clouds.
computers. So before
Composer
my time,
Dmitri
then.
Shostakovich chafed under the political censorship
I think the earliest I
imposed
could
by
have
the
been was
Soviet
on the
Ministry of Culture.
Super
His symphonies
Nintendo
and chamber
entertainment
works
system,
are
of
loaded
which
with hidden signatures
my
and
first
subversive
Nintendo
subtexts,
experience
which,
was
had they
the
been
Wii.
recognized, would have sent him to Siberia.
And much like the vast majority of the world,
Mozart's opera,
was probably
The
Wii
Magic
Sports.
Flute, is filled with musical allusions to the rituals
I
of
was
the
a
Freemasons,
PlayStation person up until the
ancient
Xbox
secret
360.
society of which
I
he
actually
and
no,
his
I did have a
mentor
Sega
Haydn
Saturn,
were members.
which
But the most
were very
famous
poorly made
purveyor
and
of
died in
Easter
our
eggs
damp as fuck
is
flat
that
at the
champion
time.
of the late Baroque, the ultimate
Machinery had a
musical
habit of
nerd.
dying in our flat. We
Johann
didn't really
Sebastian
learn
Bach.
why until many
Bach
years
was a student
later.
of gematria.
We moved
the
to the
art
house
of
we're living in
assigning
now, where
numeric
suddenly
values
everything
to
that
letters of the
complained it
alphabet.
wasn't working suddenly
A
started working
equals
fine
1,
again.
B equals 2, C equals 3, etc.
Like my Xbox 360's power supply, for as long as I've ever had it,
these numbers,
had a yellow warning light on it, which I just thought was normal because I'd never seen it in any other color.
Particular delight in the geometrical numbers
Up here, green
14
light,
and 41.
it was working fine.
14 is the sum of the initials of his last name. B equals 2, A equals 1,
So this
C
entire
equals
time,
3, and H equals 8.
essentially
41
running a
is
fire
the sum
hazard
of
in my
his
house.
expanded initials,
Well, my flat.
J.S. Bach.
Which I set to be knocked down
These two
because
numbers show up over and over again.
the government in our
Bach's
area
composition.
basically decided
One of the better-known examples
because
is his setting of the chorale.
they
or
weren't being
Dino
funded.
Throne.
That
The first
they would
line
just
of the
swoop,
melody
someone would just
contains
swoop in and
exactly
buy up all the
14
now
notes,
vacated flats
and the entire melody, from start
and
to
have them all
finish,
knocked down
contains
and
41.
rebuilt into expensive
Another of Bach's
private
favorite
housing instead.
games was the puzzle canon.
So
A
rest in
canon
peace, like
is a
100
melody that sounds good when
plus
you play it on
homes
top of itself.
be turned
a
into
little
like
bit out of
10.
sync. Frere Jacques and Row, Row, Row Your Boat are
Which
familiar
no one in the
examples of
area will
simple
ever be able to
two-voice
afford.
Canons. But a canon can employ any number of voices, and you don't have to play each voice the same way either. You can change the octave, transpose the key, invert the
I see,
pitch,
we're almost a
play
third
it
way through the
backwards,
movie.
or any combination. Finding melodies that make good multi-voice canons is a fussy and difficult art, of which Bach was an undisputed master. Now, in a puzzle canon,
These parts playing the Xbox when you able to kill the electronics.
The basic melody
You'd like to hope.
and the number of voices, but not the relationship.
Since it's an external
of the
power
voices.
supply rather than built into the
student
machine
has
itself.
to figure out the position and key of each voice.
At
and
worst,
whether
it might
to
short.
perform them inverted and or backwards. Bach wrote quite a number of
Honestly, the
puzzle
bigger problem with
canons.
the Xbox was the
most
fact they were all
famous,
suicidal.
EWV 1076 is part of a fascinating
Like,
story.
I went through, I think, 3
One of Bach's
Xboxes
students
dying.
was a fellow by the name of Lorenz Misler.
First one, I think,
founder of
lasted
the
under a
Society
year
of
before it
Musical
red-ringed.
Science. This elite,
Sent it in,
invitation-only institution
got a
devoted
replacement, it
itself
died
to the
within
study
months.
of Pythagorean
Sent that one
philosophy
in, it died within
and
months.
the union of music and
And we just bought an
mathematics.
Xbox Elite later, and that one
Its
actually did
distinguished
survive.
membership
We still
reads
have that
like
one
a
somewhere
who's
in this
who
house.
of German
I think it's
composers,
downstairs.
including Handel, Telemann, and eventually
But I remember
Mozart.
my first
Applicants for
my
membership
first 360
in the
died
society
playing Call of
were
Duty World
required
Wars
to submit
demo.
an oil portrait of themselves, along
And I
with
remember
a
this
specimen of original
very, very
music.
well, actually, because
With
the colors
nerdly
went apeshit
efficiency,
and then it turned
Society
off.
member number 14
It was running
decided
about
to
on
combine
Castle,
these admission
ye old
requirements
Tommy gun
into a
before
single work.
The great nerfing
He
happened
sat
in the full
for
release.
a portrait with Elias Haussmann, official artist at the court of Dresden. This portrait,
Why I can remember
which now
specifically
hangs
how
in the
it died
gallery
like
of
that,
the town
don't know.
hall in Leipzig,
There's other stuff around that
is
time
the
I can't
only
remember.
indisputably authentic
But I
image of
distinctly
Bach
remember my
in
Xbox
existence.
dying playing World at War.
The Haussmann portrait shows Bach dressed in a formal coat with exactly 14
Oh, that
buttons.
game's better in campaign is rough.
In his hand is a sheet of
Might
music
actually be the
paper,
hardest Call of Duty
upon
campaign
which
I've
is
ever
written
beaten
a
on
puzzle
veteran.
canon for 6 simultaneous voices.
Fun fact, I like playing
In
Call of Duty campaigns.
1974,
I
a
am the
manuscript
1%
was discovered
that actually
which
does play
proved
COD
that
for its
this
single
canon
player.
was the 13th in a series
probably
of
like
exactly
20 of us.
14 canons based on the ground theme of the famous
But I am
Goldberg
one of them.
variations. As if these musical
Every single Call of
gymnastics
Duty
weren't
that I've
enough,
ever played,
Bach
I have
liked to
beaten
hide
on veteran.
messages in his compositions by assigning notes to the letters. His initials, B-A-C-H,
Although
correspond
it definitely
to
got
the pitch
easier after
sequence
Modern Warfare
B
2 when they
flat,
decided
A,
maybe have an
C,
infinite
and
respawning
B natural in German
enemies
letter
with
notation.
20
This
plus
theme
grenades
makes
in their
its most
pocket.
memorable appearance in the last bars
Isn't the
of his
best
final
game design.
composition, The Art of Fugue, published soon after his death in 1750.
Which is why our veteran
The word
campaign
fugue
playthrough,
comes
which is
from
now
the
on
Latin
YouTube,
fuga, which means flight,
for Black
as
Ops
in
6, the
running
most recent
away.
one. Took like 3 days at best.
Fugue is the art of
Whereas
flight,
before it used to take me
the art of taking
plus.
a theme and running with it. Bach wrote hundreds of fugues, but none as sublime as this sequence of 14. In the last and most complicated fugue in the series,
free remake campaigns also didn't take me that long, but I didn't do those on stream at the time because my computer was too bad for them.
BACH signature. And then suddenly,
had we already been in our Burnout and Balloons arc, I probably would have tried streaming them though.
Dead in its tracks. One of the composer's 20
those campaigns
children,
mostly just had like
his son Carl Philipp
asshole
Emanuel,
design in
claimed
particular
that
levels.
Bach died moments after those last few notes were written.
Like 90% of the
story is probably
easy.
Apocryphal. The Easter eggs in Bach's music are a pleasant obscurity, known chiefly to professors.
I have seen rumors going about, and no, it's not the fabled Half-Life 3.
March of 2002,
I fucking wish. Or Silk Song, which we all know is just a social experiment.
Those Easter eggs were the talk of the entire
classical
there's
talks
music
that
industry.
The old
Sitting
Gears
near
of
the
War
top
games
of the classical music
might
chart
finally
that
be coming to PC.
Was a compact disc on the ECM
and I
label
so
called
hope it's true.
Lorimer. It was performed
I want
by
to
the
play
Hilliard
old Gears
Choral
again.
Ensemble,
I fucking
together
miss
with a
Gears of
talented
War.
but until then little-known violinist.
I used to be so good at it back in the day. Now I'm washed as fuck, and I know this because when I played Halo, which I was also good at, I was washed as fuck in that too.
For solo violin. This analysis by German professor Helga Thom.
The glory days of 12 to 15-year-old slip skips are long, long gone.
And the German letter notation of the partita. In doing so, she claims to have discovered
very same
the
slip
complete
skip
text of several liturgical
legitimately 100%ed
encoded in the notes.
All of those games back in the day. I was high ranking in multiplayer.
Over the original
music. Ain't the same slip skip
the
now.
result was strangely melancholy, dark.
The passage of time has eroded away at me. So I'm also shit at Guitar Hero, and I used to be able to play Expert really well.
Attacked this disc. They didn't buy Professor Thone's analysis.
Like destroys my hands now trying to play it.
Of numerology and canny marketing. Their caution was not without basis. Numerology is a slippery slope down which many a fine mind has slid to its doom.
Well,
allow me to offer an amusing anecdote
the old Gears trilogy
from my own experience.
Mostly it's 2 and 3 I care about, because one technically is on PC, just not Steam.
One of the more popular online bulletin board systems.
But if the old trilogy comes on Steam, I'm buying it.
I bought an account on Prodigy so I could join a fraternal interest group and gossip
they
with
actually
fellow
stream
members
it. Depends how
around
my
the country.
friend's feeling, because I know I'll be co-oping and same with them.
Appeared on our bulletin board.
This is kind of something we did back then too.
We were in trouble.
So
this fellow, whose name was Gary,
so such a thing does happen hypothetically.
All kinds of apocalyptic nonsense about worldwide conspiracies.
It might be on their stream, because I know they would want to actually have content for their stream again, because they've not been streaming for
At first, we tried to be polite.
Probably like 2
we
years now,
questioned
actually.
His sources, corrected his histories, logically refuted
I started
his
after
claims,
them,
and tried to behave.
Theirs was a group effort, and their group kind of fell apart.
Instead of soothing him, our attention only made him worse.
far too busy.
His conspiratorial warnings became
They've been wanting to get back to
approaching hysteria. He
I think
began to threaten people
this
who
or next month is when they're planning to try and stream again, but they stream in the evenings because
uppercase.
Unlike me,
but his most
they work
urgent warnings
in the morning,
weren't about the gays, the Jews, the Rockefellers, or the Illuminati. According to Gary, the greatest enemy of mankind was Santa Claus.
So hopefully,
Gary
that does
claimed
pan out.
to possess a secret numerical formula that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Santa Claus was an avatar of the Antichrist.
Save the streams of when we were playing Back 4 Blood on their stream.
Gary to reveal his formula. In doing so,
if you think I'm unfiltered here times in my speech,
should have known he had a book to sell.
I
fell for it.
I had my moments on their stream when we were playing.
Less than a week later, the book arrived.
Old nightmare difficulty on that game.
An ominous photograph
and then
of
later,
the Washington Monument
No Hope,
was
and they added
emblazoned the title, 666, The Final
God, that
Warning.
game's a fucking mess.
Inside this privately printed 494-page monster, Gary reveals a simple geometrical formula, which he claims was developed by the ancient Sumerians. This formula assigns successive products of 6 to each letter of the alphabet.
I do wonder what the studio's actually up to, because I doubt they're making Back 4 Blood 2 after the shit show of Back 4 Blood 1's launch.
Imagine my dismay when I applied this ancient formula to the
I don't
name
know
Santa
what the hell's
Claus,
going on. They were bought out
and
by 10
obtained
cents.
the blasphemous sum of 666, the biblical number of the beast. I went on Prodigy and reported to the stunned members of our interest group that Gary was right. What
a wild time where
there could be no doubt.
Dead Island 2 ends up being a decent,
wisdom of ancient Samaria,
albeit dated
Santa
game,
Claus
and Back 4
was
Blood,
the
modern iteration of the Left 4 Dead
I
formula,
then went on
ends
to
up
point
bombing.
out several other names which, when submitted to Gary's formula, also produced the sum 666. Names like St. James, New York, and New Mexico. Soon the bulletin board was filled with discoveries like computer,
What did I put in my
Boston tea,
my
and
exclamation
most
mark list
sinister of
command?
all,
I can't tab
sing
out because it'll cut the
karaoke.
volume, and I don't want to cut the volume.
Gary left us alone after that.
We're all going to
I got
experience
my
this movie
knowledge.
together.
But Gary is
After
hardly
all,
the
I brute
first
forced the
person to
Dorito
connect
maze.
secret
We all get to
codes
suffer
the
with me.
Bible.
This is my reward.
People have been looking for Easter eggs in the Bible for hundreds of years. The Hebrew mystical tradition of Kabbalah can be described as a geometriacal meditation on the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Old Testament.
I'm kind of curious how
The
close I
advent
was
of
to failing that
computers
run as
has
well.
made the application of
The
numerology
music
to
was
the Bible
definitely in the
fast
panic
and
set,
efficient.
and I'm pretty sure I was
The
seconds away
latest
from
phase
losing.
of Bible searching was instigated by a book published in 1998 by Michael Drosnin, a former Wall Street Journal reporter. His book, The Bible Code, applied a skip cipher in which every nth character in a text is combined to form
What a stressful
message.
puzzle. And you said Magician, there's like a meme
By
speedrun
applying
category of
his
just
skip cipher to the
doing
Hebrew
it a
text
bunch
of
of
the Old
times
Testament,
in a row.
Drosnin claimed to have discovered predictions of World War II, the Holocaust, Hiroshima, the assassination of
That's
Yitzhak
wild to
Rabin
me.
and both Kennedys, the moon landing, Watergate, the Oklahoma City bombing, the election of Bill Clinton, the death of Princess Di, and the comet that collided with Jupiter. He also found predictions of a giant
I did look forward
earthquake
to seeing
in
a
LA,
speedrun of this game now
a
I know that
meteor
I've,
hitting the Earth,
I guess, quote-unquote,
and
beaten it
nuclear
properly.
Armageddon, all scheduled to occur before the end of the last
We're definitely
decade.
not clearing up all the
The
environmental
Bible
puzzles.
Code spent
That's
many
gonna
weeks
take
on the bestseller list,
way too long, and I'm not
spawning
gonna see
several
most of them.
sequels and dozens
I
of
probably need
imitators.
help.
The Bible has certainly attracted its share of crackpots, but for the real hardcore egg hunters, nothing can rival the ingenuity, the tenacious scholarship, the stubborn zeal of those who seek the answer to the ultimate literary puzzle. A poisonous conundrum that has squandered fortunes, destroyed careers, and driven healthy, intelligent scholars to the brink of madness.
I remember watching the Baba's
and
speedrun,
beyond.
actually. That was
Who
was like
wrote
the true ending,
Shakespeare?
blindfolded.
The essays and books devoted to the Shakespeare
was
authorship problem are sufficient to
terrifyingly
fill
quick.
a large library. Several such libraries actually exist.
I'll never
Not
understand
even
how
a day-long
people
tutorial, much
people
less
can
an
do
hour
a game
lecture,
blindfolded.
can begin to do
Even the whole
justice
concept
to
of
this
normalized
complex,
inputs.
bizarre, and dangerously tantalizing story. Nevertheless, for the unacquainted, I will attempt to summarize the issue in a few paragraphs. The
There's 2 air
undisputed
bridges
facts
inside of the mountain.
Shakespeare's life and career could be scribbled on the back of a cocktail
Listen,
napkin. We know for a
the
fact
amount of
that a man named
mistakes
William Shakespeare
I made on
was
those
born
puzzles
in
is hilarious.
1564 in or around the village of Stratford upon Avon. We know that he had a wife and at least 3 children. We know he bought property in Stratford, was involved in several lawsuits with his neighbors,
I'm definitely
and
glad
died
I
there
straightened
in
through up to this point, though.
1616, aged 52. We also know that during those same years,
I'm also glad
a man
that
with a last name
we never
similar
got
to
bothered
Shakespeare
where I would spend
worked
literally
as an
3
actor
hours
on the
doing
London stage,
nothing. 'Cause I
eventually
couldn't solve the
becoming
puzzle.
co-owner of some of the theaters there. We also know that about the same time, a number of most excellent poems and plays were published in
Did you
London
say he's one of
under
those
the
environment
name
puzzle?
Shakespeare.
Oh yeah, I got one of them.
We do not know for a fact that the landowner in Stratford and the actor in London with a similar last name were one and the same man.
And by one, I mean the very bottom one that doesn't get obscured.
We do not know for a fact that either man had anything to do with the poems and the plays.
And it wouldn't surprise me if there's multiple ways that they have to be drawn out
and plays
to get them
have,
off.
in the 400 years since their composition, come to be regarded as a pinnacle of Western culture. The works attributed to Shakespeare appear to have been written by a man or woman who knew something about just about everything. They're filled with references to mythology,
yeah, because not everything's opened
literature,
up.
Games and sports, war and weapons
I can't get cut off from it anymore.
And sailing, the law and legal terminology, court etiquette, statesmanship,
I still think it's
music,
really
astronomy, medicine, falconry, and
I'm actually still missing
theater.
the RGB puzzle
Therein
inside this
problem.
section.
How could a farmer's
It's the
son
one puzzle
of
I skipped
uncertain
over.
schooling, from a mostly illiterate country village, a man of practically no account at all, wield such encyclopedic learning, with so much eloquence and wit, so much wisdom and human understanding? For the first 150 years,
maybe that can be the rest of the stream. I'll go back and do that puzzle, because I think that might be the only normal puzzle
in the late
I've not
18th century,
done now.
Reverend James
everything
Wilmot,
else is
a
environment.
distinguished scholar who lived just a few miles north of Stratford, decided to
That
write a
will also be a
biography
statement
of
that
the
ages
famous
poorly,
playwright.
but still.
Dr. Wilmot believed that a man as well educated as Shakespeare must have owned a fairly extensive library, despite the fact that not a single book or manuscript is mentioned in his will. Over the years, he speculated, some of those books must have found their way into local collections. And so, the good Reverend Doctor scoured the British
for doing
countryside,
all of the environment
taking
puzzles.
inventory of literally every
Or is it just
bookshelf
pride and
within
accomplishment? I
50
can't remember if I've
miles
asked
of
that question
Stratford.
before.
Not a single book from the library of William Shakespeare was discovered. Neither were there found any letters to, from, or about Shakespeare.
Because I feel alright
Furthermore,
asking these questions,
no
because as far as I'm
references
concerned
to
at this moment,
folklore,
this is the
local
final day of the
sayings,
witness.
or distinctive dialect of the Stratford area could be found
Until
in
convinced
any
otherwise.
of Shakespeare's writings. After 4 years of painstaking research, Dr. Wilmot concluded, to his own dismay, that only one person contemporary with Shakespeare of Stratford had ever demonstrated the wide-ranging education and expressive talent needed to compose those poems and plays. That man was the multilingual author, philosopher, and statesman, inventor of the scientific method, chancellor to the courts of Queen Elizabeth and King James, Sir Francis Bacon. Dr. Wilmot never dared to publish his theory, but before he died, he confided it to a friend, James Cowell, who, in 1805, repeated it to a meeting of the Ipswich Philosophical Society. The members of the society were suitably outraged, and the scandalous matter was quickly forgotten. Then, in 1857, a lady from Stratford, Connecticut, published a book called The Philosophy of the Plays of
bothers you will probably still
Shakespeare
hold the cake
Unfolded.
for. You thought you beat the game?
In this book,
That's a
Miss
funny
Delia
joke.
Bacon, no
Congratulations,
relation to
you
Francis,
beat the tutorial.
claimed that the works of Shakespeare were written by a secret cabal of British nobility, including Sir Walter Raleigh and Sir Philip Sidney, as well as Sir Francis Bacon. Delia Bacon's book electrified the world of letters. Battle lines were drawn between the orthodox Stratfordians and the heretical Baconians.
So long. If we cut like the one day,
and scholarly
where I
journals
quite
were
literally
formed
streamed
to
for
debate
3
the
hours and then
evidence.
just
Hundreds of pamphlets,
couldn't beat a
newspaper
puzzle.
articles, and essays were published
like
defending
68
each side
days
and ridiculing the opposition with
to beat
that
the game, but it's funny to say
self-aggrandizing
69 because of
viciousness
that one day where I
peculiar
did
to
nothing.
tenured academics.
just sat there trying to beat
Armed
the same
with
2
her
puzzles for 3
explosive
hours
book,
straight.
Delia Bacon journeyed to Stratford-upon-Avon and, unbelievably, obtained official permission to open Shakespeare's
Was that,
grave.
was that on the 20 or 30
However,
days mark?
when the
that
moment
happened?
came to actually lift the stone, Delia's self-doubt precipitated a catastrophic nervous breakdown.
Then I played other stuff in
She
between.
later died penniless
Bother
in a
playthrough.
madhouse. Around
Mostly just to like take a
1888,
break.
things
I know
began
Balloons
to
Update
get a
came out in
bit
the middle of
out
it,
of
so I went back
hand.
and played Balloons for a bit.
U.S. Congressman
What?
Ignatius Donnelly of Minnesota
Obligatory
became
2 to 3
interested in
days
Shakespeare
of Balloons
controversy.
6.
One day, browsing through his facsimile copy of the first folio of 1623, he noted that the word bacon appeared on page 53 of the histories and also on page 53 of the comedies.
From now, next update comes out.
He also noted that Sir Francis Bacon had written extensively on the subject of cryptography. Donnelly began counting line and page numbers, adding and subtracting letters, drawing lines over sentences, circling words, and crossing them out. The result was a complex and virtually incomprehensible algorithm, which he claimed was invented by Bacon to hide secret messages inside the first folio. The greatest Easter egg hunt in the history of Western civilization.
Loons update when? Probably 2 months from now.
Here are just a couple of the sillier highlights.
What was the date update 48 came out? It was 47. Oh, it's 47 because my stream's update 48 waiting
research tool he called the Wheel of Fortune. This wheel consisted of two
exclamation
giant wooden
update still works, right? That should bring it to the default
canvas, 2 feet wide,
Loons update note, so
1,000
that'll have the
feet
date
long.
In the Reddit post.
Onto this canvas, he glued the separate pages of the complete works of Bacon, Shakespeare, Marlowe,
that's the one of the few commands
Peele,
I keep,
and Spencer,
regardless.
Together with Burton's Anatomy of Melancholy.
I think it was last month, so it's probably 2 months. They do like
forth, Dr. Owen could quickly zip across the pages in search of clues
3
and
months apart.
cross-references. Employing a large team of secretaries and stenographers, Owen claimed to have uncovered a complete alternative history of Elizabethan
as will be
England,
tradition, I
as
will
well
in fact be
as
playing Bloom 6 every time
Shakespeare plays
a new update does come out.
Listen to this
Probably not
verse,
Legends
supposedly penned by the mighty bard himself, which inspired Dr. Owen to build his Wheel of Fortune. Take your knife and cut all our books asunder, and set the leaves on a great firm wheel, which rolls
I got my 10
rolls,
quid out of it.
And turning the fickle rolling wheel, throw your eyes upon Fortune, that goddess blind, that stands
even if I didn't, I got
upon
Bloom 6 for
spherical
free,
stone,
so
that turning
I think
and
£10 for
rolls in
the 2,600 hours of gameplay I've gotten out of that game. It's probably a fair deal.
After publishing 5 thick volumes of this rubbish, Owen announced the discovery of an anagram, indicating that
especially since I've definitely made at least £10
were buried near
playing
Chepstow Castle on the River
via
Wye.
pre-roll ads in the brief time
Owen
I was actually running
spent
ads
the
on
next
stream.
15 years and thousands
And of course,
of dollars
the many
excavating
insane
the
people
bed
that
of the
subscribe
river
to the stream
with boat
every month.
crews and high explosives.
Don't know why you do
He
it,
died before
but you
anything
do.
was found. A fellow named Arnsberg wrote an entire book based on the analysis of the significance of a suspicious crack.
All the support this stream got back during the Bloons Day bought me my new graphics card, so
a ray of sanity
I've been able to play more games as a result. So I'm very thankful for that.
To those familiar with the science of cryptology, the name William Friedman needs little introduction. During World War II, Colonel Friedman was the head of the U.S. Army's Cryptoanalytic Bureau. He is credited with cracking the Japanese Empire's most sensitive cipher. After the war, the colonel decided to apply his expertise to the study of the Shakespeare ciphers.
I know I have a Halo series on there as like an idea to play. Titanfall 2's on there as well.
And prepared a detailed scientific analysis, which he published under the title The Shakespeare Ciphers Examined.
Oh yeah, the Awaria.
His conclusion?
Awaria?
In a word,
I know it's a Polish word, but I can't pronounce it properly.
The
game, the next puzzle game by the
hidden messages purportedly discovered
guy
in
that made
Shakespeare's
Helltaker
was plausible.
Is sitting on there
The
because that
rules
looks funny
used
to play.
extract these messages from the texts were non-rigorous, wildly subjective, and unrepeatable by anyone except the original decipherer. The people involved were not being dishonest. They were channeling their preconceptions. They were trapped in a labyrinth of delusion, mining order from chaos. Anglers in a lake of darkness. Lear, Act 3, Scene 6. You would think that Friedman's cold and ruthless exposure
How many takes do you think, by the way, it
to
took
silence the heretics once
took the
and
voice
for all?
actors to do these movies?
Not a chance. The books and TV specials and websites and conferences
Especially
and
of how long
doctoral
they go here.
dissertations keep right on coming. I should point out that the Shakespeare authorship issue is not only the preoccupation of cranks and weirdos. a substantial number of respected authors and Shakespeareans have expressed serious doubts about the traditional origin of the plays. The list includes Nathaniel Hawthorne, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Walt Whitman, Henry James, Sam Clemens, Sigmund Freud, Orson Welles, and Sir John Gielgud. Living skeptics include the artistic director of the New Globe Theatre, Mark Rylance, Michael York, Derek Jacobi, Kenneth Branagh, and even that most revered and scholarly of contemporary Shakespearean actors, Keanu Reeves. The current leading candidate for the authorship is Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford.
But I am absolutely toying with the idea of
1920
running the gauntlet known as a Pokemon Nuzlocke run. My first ever one.
What is it about Bach, the Bible,
I think that's going to take a bit of preparation though, because I know a lot of the rules are
intense scrutiny. Nobody's
very much
for
honor code
acrostics
due to the
Chaucer
lack of custom
or
rule
Keats.
sets.
There are no hit CDs
in-game.
of the secret chorales of Wagner or Beethoven. For the answer, we need to recognize the unique roles
If I do run those, it will probably just be Fire
in the
Red
development of Western culture.
as the first ones.
No other single work
So
of
that it's,
literature has influenced
slightly more
modern
manageable.
English more than the translation of the Holy Bible published in 1611
Anyone.
under the auspices of King James
I know
I.
you want. You want fed, but you're not getting
The
fed.
King James Bible
I fed you every
exemplifies
single
the
time you
meaning
came here.
of the word
Be an
classic.
even bigger barrel than you already are.
It has been called the noblest monument of English prose, the very greatest achievement of the English language. It has served as an inspiration for generations of poets, dramatists, musicians, politicians, and orators. Countless people have learned to read by repeating the phrases in this, the only book their family possessed. Our constitutions and our laws have been profoundly shaped by its cadences and imagery.
Oh, actually, I do know
But
one
even
stream
the
I want to
glory
do.
of the King James Bible,
It'll be a
compiled by a
relatively
committee of
short
46 editors over the course of a decade,
and it'll need to be done before
the
April
dazzling
19th.
legacy of the
Great
Swan of
Purging.
Avon. The lowest
Off
estimate
the VODs
of
on my Twitch
Shakespeare's
channel.
working
That could be a fun
vocabulary
one.
is 15,000 words, more than 3 times that of the King James
Since
Bible,
we are kind of
and
600
twice
hours
the
over
size
the
of his nearest
new
competitor,
limit.
John Milton. His poems and plays were written without the
So you
aid
can
of a
watch me
dictionary
delete
or
every
a
video off
thesaurus.
my channel.
They didn't exist yet. It was all in his head. When Shakespeare had a thought for which Elizabethan English had no word, he invented one. The Oxford English Dictionary lists hundreds of everyday words and phrases which made their first appearance in the pages of the Bard. Addiction, alligator, assassination, bedroom, critic, dawn, design, dialogue, employer, film, glow, gloomy, gossip, hint,
Pinged on
hurry,
Discord, but I can't look at them all. What's
investment,
going on?
lonely, luggage, manager, switch, torture, transcendence, wormhole, zany. Hamlet alone contains nearly
overall,
40 of these
I've enjoyed my time
neologisms.
playing The Witness. The Witness is
Who
a
today would
very,
have this
very fun puzzle
audacity,
game.
this giddy exuberance of invention?
Of course, kind of defeats
Only
the purpose.
one other English
Playing
author
the game
even
after you
approaches
watched it, but
Shakespeare's
if
facility
you've missed
for
most of it
coining
or
new
forgotten most of
words.
it, like I had many years
Sir
ago
Francis Bacon.
when I first watched parts of this
In the
game.
modern era, the record holder is Charles Dodgson, better known
Then,
as Lewis Carroll, who,
Absolutely worth
interestingly,
getting.
also
Same as
happens
Bob
to be the
Ligeia, I'll
second
shill that
most
game as
quoted
well.
author in English, after Shakespeare. Everyone has been profoundly molded by
Probably
the
still the
influences
best and
of
hardest
King
puzzle
James
game that
Bible
I've played so far.
and Shakespeare. Like it or not, all of us peer at
And
the
if you don't want to
world
suffer and
through
you're
the
like one of the two
lenses
people who have
of
played
these
the Portal
great
series.
works. They are the primary source
They're
documents
designed
of
for
modern English
younger
thought,
people to be capable of
the
beating.
style guides of our minds. Contemplating these dazzling jewels of wisdom and eloquence.
Unless you play like the Portal fan games, in which case
extraordinary feeling.
They can have asshole level design sometimes.
Rare and precious emotion, with the potential to completely upset your life.
Just reaffirms the points I've made many times over the years.
His wife and children, forfeit
Plotters
career
and
reputation,
fan creations for a game,
and follow his heart.
Tend to already be at a particularly high skill level usually when they make something.
Sweet fusion of
for something.
And
so it will naturally be harder.
Irresistible attraction and soul-numbing dread known as
which isn't always a bad thing. But it does pose like the difficulty of, okay, you're good at something, how do you make something
human emotion possesses such raw,
challenging but fair for people less skilled than you?
Is more difficult.
That is an extremely difficult task.
Few and far between are the works of man that qualify as truly awesome.
Because I see this with the balancing act as well in the screen modding scene. It's like most of the modders there are good.
Decoding Yahweh from the Pentateuch. Awe that
so
sends
the balancing always
of
ends up being like
year to the pyramids
way
of
off
Giza,
for a while.
Guadalupe, and Mecca. It was awe that drove poor Delia Bacon to her doom. Now, please don't come away from this lecture thinking that the key to awesome game design is the installation of Easter eggs. Ordinary games with their contrived Easter eggs and cheat codes are like the Battery of the Month Club. You have to trudge down to the back of the store to get what you really came for. If superpower is what people really want, why not just give it to them? Is our imagination so impoverished that we have to resort to marketing gimmicks to keep players interested in our games? Awesome things don't hold anything back. Awesome things are rich and generous. The treasure is right there. One afternoon, I was sitting alone behind the counter at that old Radio Shack store. My boss
a little bit
stepped
about Easter
out
eggs
for some
again
reason.
there.
An elderly woman
reminds me
walked through the front door.
What used to be cool rewards in
Like
games
most of
turned
our
into like
customers,
$5 purchases in an in-game cash shop.
Probably on a fixed income. I assumed she was there for her free battery.
Once upon a time,
But
I unlocked
instead,
Spider-Man
she
with a cheat
placed
code
a portable radio on the counter.
in ye olde Tony Hawk Pro
This
Skater
little
2.
radio came from the days when they
Now
boasted
Spider-Man
about
will cost
the
you
number of
20 quid.
transistors inside on the case. It was completely wrapped in dirty white medical tape. The
How
woman
far
looked
we
at me
fallen.
and asked, "Can you fix this?" Slowly, I unwrapped the medical tape,
Really, it used to
peeling away
be
the
you'd get
layers
stuff
until
for
the back cover of the radio
playing
fell
through a
off,
game. You'd be
accompanied
rewarded
by
for
a cloud of red dust.
your time and
The
effort.
interior of the radio was half eaten away.
Now your reward
by
is opening
battery
up a
leakage and corrosion.
microtransaction
I
store
looked at
and
the radio.
despairing that there's
I looked
nothing
at the
micro
notebook.
about £20 plus
I
purchases
looked back at the radio.
on a game. It probably cost you,
I reached behind
well, at least
me,
over here in the
where
UK,
the
60 to
expensive
70 pounds
alkaline
now.
batteries were hanging like prescription medication.
I know the US's prices have
removed a
managed to
gleaming
stagnate at
9-volt
$60
cell
for ages,
from
and
its
you
gold
recently rose to
with-
70.
Then I
Wow.
pulled a brand new transistor radio from a box.
They've been
installed
steadily
the
rising over here in
alkaline,
the UK for
and helped
years.
the lady find her favorite station. No
I
money
remember it
changed
was
hands.
fucking outlandish.
She left the store without
Like a
saying
rip-off that I bought Call of Duty 4
Awesome
for
things
£45.
Are kind of like
For
that.
the Xbox 360. Games on PC at this time were by £30 at most. Sometimes 35.
Bach offered his students
And now,
very specific insight
they're 60 to
into
70.
the source of awe. In addition to BACH,
So, what do we get for the prices?
two
Almost
other
doubling
sets
over
of
here?
initials are also associated with Bach's
Excellent
music.
question.
These initials are not hidden in the notes.
I sure don't have an answer to
Instead,
that other
They're
than
scrolled right across
prices
the
went
top
up
of
and
the
they're asking me to
manuscript
pay
for the
more
whole
afterwards
world
too.
to see. The initials are SDG and
games don't
JJ.
even work as well as they used to do back then either.
SDG stands for the Latin phrase Sole Deo Gloria, to the glory of God alone. JJ stands for Jesu
Maybe one day.
Juva. Help me, Jesus. Bach wrote all of his great masterpieces sub specie aeternitatis.
I'm also trying to remember.
Under the aspect of eternity.
What's coming in the next
He did
Terraria
not compose
update?
only
I know I'm
to
never
please his
going to
sponsors
play the Zen
or to
suit.
win the approval of an audience.
I don't even think I could be paid
His
to play
work
Get Fixed Boy.
Was his worship.
I say I don't
Bach
think,
once
because I'm pretty
wrote,
sure there is a number where I'd
Music
be like,
should
sure,
have no other end and aim
I'll sell
than
myself
the
out
glory
and play
of
it.
God and the recreation of the soul. Where this is not kept in mind,
But right
there
now
is
my limit
no
was for
true
the worthy.
music, but only an infernal clamor and ranting. The name of the
I
power
also never
that
touched
moves
Calamity
you
on stream.
is not important.
I walked away with a very bad impression of
What is
that mod
important
by the time me
is
and my
that
friends
you
finished our
are
playthrough years ago.
moved. Awe is the foundation of religion. No
That's
other
because apparently
motivation
modding
can
Terraria
free you
multiplayer is
from the
just a
limits
shit show.
of personal achievement.
And Calamity just
Nothing else can
exacerbates
teach
the shit show
you the art
so
flight.
much.
Computer games are barely 40 years old. Only a few words in our basic vocabulary have been established. A whole dictionary is waiting to be coined. The slate is clean. Someday soon, perhaps even in our lifetime, a game design will appear that will flash across our culture like lightning. It will be easy to recognize. It will be generous, giddy with exuberant inventiveness. Scholars will pick it apart for decades, perhaps centuries. It will be something wonderful, something terrifying, something awful. A few years ago, I was invited to speak at a conference in London. My wife joined me, and we took a day off for some sightseeing. We decided to visit England's second biggest tourist attraction, Stratford-upon-Avon. It was cold and rainy when our train arrived. Luckily, most of the attractions are just a short walk from the station. We visited Shakespeare's birthplace, a charming old house along the main street, which attracts millions of pilgrims every year, despite the complete lack of any evidence that Shakespeare was born there or even lived anywhere near it. We went past the school where Shakespeare learned to read and write, although no documents
The comment
exist
about the
to
video
prove
being
his
nearly an
attendance.
hour long.
We visited Anne Hathaway's cottage,
I think it's
the
more
rustic
it's at
country
least
farm
more
where his
longer than
wife
an hour.
spent her childhood.
Looking back
although
at the
no
comment
record shows
chat
anyone by that
logs.
name ever having lived
Because
there.
I'd already started it by
Finally, we came to the one location
10:21?
undeniably associated with Shakespeare. Trinity Parish Church, on the banks of the River Avon, where a man by that name
And we're currently at
was
11:11 on my clock, so
This beautiful church is approached by a long walkway between rows of ancient gravestones.
this is an
shaded by
environment
tall
puzzle, which is very
trees.
funny.
The entrance door is surprisingly tiny. No cameras are allowed inside. The interior is
I'm
dark
not gonna do
and quiet.
because I find it funny to not do.
Despite the presence of busloads of tourists, the atmosphere
Might be a
is
reason for the
hushed
movie so long. It
and
would happen to be
respectful.
on the back with a nice white
A few
dot
people
you're
are
supposed to
seated
hold
in
on
the
to for
pews,
like an hour
deep
long.
in prayer. An aisle
So I'm aware
leads up
about
the center of the church.
The puzzles inside these movies.
The left side of the altar is brightly illuminated. On the wall above is a famous bust of the bard, quill in hand, gazing serenely at the crowd of pilgrims.
I'm just too lazy to
On the floor beneath,
bother doing it.
surrounded
This is
by
my victory
bouquets
lap.
of flowers, at the very spot where
I beat the
Delia
challenge,
Bacon
that's-
lost her mind, the gravestone
is my-
of William Shakespeare
this is the epilogue.
bears this dire warning. Good friend, for Jesus' sake, forbear to dig the dust and close it here. Blessed be the man who spares these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones. Every year, 3 million pilgrims arrive from every nation on earth to approach this stone and consider the likeness of a man whose body of work can only be described as awesome. By contrast, the right side of the altar is dark and featureless. Nobody of any consequence is buried there. The only point of interest is a wooden case of simple design carved of dark oak. Inside the case, sealed beneath a thick sheet of glass, lies a large open book. A plaque on the case identifies this book as a first edition of the King James Bible, published in 1611 when Shakespeare was 46.
Alright, yeah, so
not many pilgrims.
I'm sure
visit
everyone
this
on
side
Steam
of
has
the
probably
altar.
already seen it, but
Most
just
of
in
those
case,
that do simply glance
apparently
at the book, read
spring
the
summer?
plaque,
Yeah, spring summer.
and move
Spring
along.
Steam sale
A few, more
has
observant,
started.
note that the
Practically everything on
Bible
the wish list
happens
is on
to be
sale again.
opened to a page in the Old Testament,
So I've been thinking
the
about
book
going
of
through that
Psalms, chapter
and seeing if there's
46.
anything that I don't already own that interests
No
me in there.
explanation is given
I
for
must
this
just use it as a
particular choice
don't forget
of
about this
pages.
game list
For the initiated,
rather than things I actually
none
own most of
is
the time.
necessary. If you are of inquisitive bent, if you are intrigued by English history and literature, if you value your peace of mind, cover your ears.
So I'm
now.
crawling out of the quilt on my bed.
In the year 1900, a scholar noticed something
Too warm now?
about the King James translation of Psalm 46. Something terrifying, something wonderful. The 46th word from the beginning of Psalm 46
Looks like you're gonna try and eat
is
me.
shake. The 46th word from the end is spear. There are only two possibilities here. Either this is the finest coincidence ever recorded in the history of world literature, or it is not. The Earth revolves around only one sun and has only one moon. The moon happens to
friendless
be
you've been all morning.
400 times smaller than the sun.
Been
The sun
uninitiated
happens to be
somehow.
400 times
Our dog is a
farther away.
chihuahua.
And the apparent paths of the moon and sun in our sky
It's currently rolling on its
happen
back
to
on my bed
intersect
looking at me, and every time I stop
exactly
stroking
twice
it, it
every
lunges
month.
for my hand to bring
Which
it back.
means that every now and then, at long yet precisely predictable intervals, the lunar disk slips across the face of the sun and just barely conceals it for a few
Alright, maybe I
wonderful,
can finally sit down in my chair again.
terrible
I've been walking about
minutes.
for an hour as we
a fine
listen to our
coincidence.
epilogue.
No? In June of 1977, a little man with divergent eyes and a talent for mischief ascended a hilltop in the British village of Ampthill. At the summit of this hill is a tall, slender cross, a memorial to Catherine of Aragon,
I'm honestly impressed that
the
there's
first wife of Henry VIII.
still this many people willing to
The sun, high in the south,
watch
cast the
this
shadow
for
of
an
the
hour as
cross
I
upon the
occasionally talk
grassy
shit.
hillside. At exactly 12 noon, the man removed from
Quite
his pocket
thankful that
a
there
bar
are sane
magnet.
people out there.
He turned the magnet so its north pole was facing south and buried it under the shadow of the cross. 2 years later, a few hours before the publication of his first book, the man returned to that hillside, this time in the dead of night. He used a compass to locate the magnet he had buried. In that same place, he dug a hole in the ground and placed inside a ceramic container inscribed with the following words: I am the keeper of the jewel of masquerade, which lies waiting safe inside me for you or eternity.
It's a nice touch of the eclipsing dot. Well, that would have dragged me around. Could have just left it there, but then it wouldn't have. It would have lasted as long. Well, we did it. You know what? If I leave now, or confirm it's done. There we go. This is the windmill area, right? Yeah, it was. Alright, well, we've got one more puzzle technically, but I won't be upset if I don't end up doing it. Absolutely done my time. That was the desert area. Taking the longest way back as well, but fuck it. These fucking pillars. Yeah, that puzzle there. Bring it back down. Oh, over here. So now we have this. The one puzzle I didn't do. Pretty sure that this is very much wrong, but still. I mean, all of this, no, mouse please. All of this I'm pretty sure is correct. All of that's correct. It might even be like this is correct. That though would be wrong. I'm surprised, but also I'm quite thankful that a puzzle like this didn't come up during the gauntlet run. I absolutely would not have been okay with that. I know this outer L here is trying to teach me the rule to apply to the other colors. I think my head might be too small for that. I don't think that's right. Shocker. Oh, yeah, I can actually check what's pinging on Discord now. Ah, cool. That definitely feels wrong. It very much is. Taking myself. I know that's wrong because that yellow needs to be with colors all the way on the left. So I know, like, I'm very certain, but yes. I think that grouping right now is correct. A bold assumption of me, but I feel like that's correct. Then there's purple in there. I feel like if I could cause that to not be a thing, that would be right. Same problem solving. I try to do it in other colors instead. What do I think the color rule here is? Excellent question. I think all things conform to cyan and yellow. So this, all of these colors here that I've boxed in are yellow. With shoutouts to this also being a part of it. I think everything else is cyan at the bottom. Be funny if that's actually the case, but that comes with its own problems. Like, in my mind, that's almost correct, if not for the fact that there's like a dark blue sitting inside the other colors. But this is all under the assumption that it is actually all 2 colors. And the even greater assumption is that I've accurately separated them in the first place. Also, actually no, that is in fact wrong because of one little funny part here. This would never have worked even if it was correct because of this. Alas. It's all 2 color, but it's a stupid rule? Believable. I want to hint at the rule? Sure, go for it. But I feel like it's a stupid rule, mate. I might actually have an idea because of that. Not that I can act on it, but I might have an idea what that meant. Bottom left, why isn't purple going yellow? I mean, the line actually does change colors over time. It's kind of funny. I mean, for me, I see lime green. Unless I'm looking at the wrong kind of purple. But I see that turning cyan. Unless this is even dumber than I thought. doesn't go yellow goes cyan, yet dark blue goes yellow. Unsure on that. I'm also unsure if I understand the correct rule it wants me to go with as well, so... I wonder if in another timeline would that have been considered correct? think the train of thought is absolutely derailed at this point. Definitely starting to feel like I'm clutching at straws. Not in the fun way. Think this is the only puzzle with this rule? Well, given that it's now the final minutes of the stream, and this is probably the last ever witness stream we'll be doing, you can tell me the rule now. I feel like I've bashed my head into the wall enough. I think it's acceptable at this point. Anyways, maybe we'll get in the next few minutes if I actually know what I'm looking for. It's contrasting colors. I see. Wait. Hang on a minute, no. Should that not have been wrong? Wait. I overlooked that bit. Well, fuck it. I solved it wrong in my mind anyway. Such a dumb puzzle. I think if I understood it better, I might get it. But I definitely did not. But anyway, it is 12 o'clock and we've now officially, as far as I'm concerned, beaten the witness. So, with that, what's on the list? What do we got going? What was our idea? All terrible ideas? Alright, so that means we're gonna be in, update 48 waiting room while I figure that part out. So, with that, though, thanks for watching. Remember to follow, consider following, and also unfollowed during the 13 days of the witness. Do stream same time every day, 9 AM UK time, right o'clock, 3 hours, 2 minutes. That's when I would normally click the start streaming button. And with that, potentially see you tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing, but fucking figure it out as I go along, I guess. Have a good one.